So you're telling me, so it's been studied. So that means it must be true, right? Right? Well, I'm here to tell you why I have a problem with the majority of health studies out there. So buckle up, we're gonna get into it right now. Let's get to it. Psh. So what's up YouTube fam, welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I am Jared Weiss, and if you guys didn't know, that must mean that you're now subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think of the video. Follow me on all my other social media platforms. Guys, welcome back for another episode of Hard Truth with Jared Weiss. Can you guys handle the truth? I don't know. Can you guys handle the truth that like most of the studies have been bought and paid for?
I want the truth!
The truth? You want the truth?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I have an issue with most health studies that are out there. So let's get into it now. So, starting with the fact that all you have to do for most of these studies is just look at who's funding them, and then you can find out why the information is being shown the way that it is. But it goes a lot deeper than just that. So first off, the FDA is largely funded by Big Pharma, and most employees at one serve on the boards of the other and vice versa. And 9 out of the past 10 FDA commissioners have gone on to work for pharmaceutical companies. So what does that tell you about the medicines that are being promoted as safe and effective by the pharmaceutical companies, and the ones that are then being approved by the FDA? Next off, you have the Rockefeller Foundation as well as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who've both been found to be very corrupt, might I add, and most of their funding is going to go to studies that are promoting their agendas, which are... So if you guys don't know the history of the Rockefeller Foundation, they actually tried to put an end to holistic medicine by paying for all these false studies to come out showing that holistic medicine was actually not good for people, and as a result they then put all their money into the petrochemical industry, which was then used to make medicines, which is one of the many reasons why modern medicine and most of its ingredients, if you guys actually research them, is actually toxic, because it's coming from things that aren't meant to be in our bodies and that don't belong in nature. So when you see, for instance, Bill Gates buying up most of the farmland in the United States, when you see Bill Gates promoting certain needles, and then when you look at the studies, and the studies are being funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or for instance when it comes to the whole weather changing, which I'm not going to say the real term because we're on YouTube here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Then when you see people being convinced that cow farts are causing the stuff, and then you realize who's funding the studies, it all ends up going back to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so these people don't have a conflict of interest, do they? Do they? I don't think so. They couldn't. Why would they lie to us? Bill Gates is a philanthropist. The Rockefeller Foundation just wants what's good for the rest of society, right? Right? I don't know about that. So, moreover, going along the same weather agenda, so when you see Bill Gates telling people to stop eating real meat and start eating his lab-grown meat, but then you realize he's also funding the studies that are telling you that animals are bad for you and the animals are bad for the planet, and that it couldn't be anything that's being sprayed on us in the sky, and that it couldn't be any type of frequency that's manipulating the weather, could it? I don't know, you tell me. Look at these pictures now. And these same people who are telling you to stop doing what's actually good for your health, when these people are crying about the weather changing, but then meanwhile they're all buying up properties on Martha's Vineyard, which should be underwater by now based on their own predictions, and when they're going to start telling you to eat the bugs while they're the ones eating steaks, chickens, are you guys going to believe them? What about when they tell you that the world is ending in 12 years, as they've done probably multiple times by now, unless we give up all of our power to them, unless we stop eating good foods and we start eating lab-grown meats and take all their medicines? But has that resulted in better health for us? Or has that resulted in more money for them? You tell me. Also, it's actually been shown that every major media company shares members who are on the board of Pfizer, Moderna, and these same people are also on the boards of the FDA. And so, as I said earlier, it's a whole revolving door. So, like, how can you trust these people with your health? How can you trust these people to tell you the unbiased truth of what's going on, rather than how to line their pockets and contribute to their agenda and how to manifest their dystopia in this whole spiritual war that we're in? Moreover, back to the whole weather issue, or climate issue, if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, I don't know yet. But what about HARP? What about people who've come out telling you, and what about Bill Gates saying to people that he's going to try to dim the sun, and then he's funding people to do this, and funding people's studies who are promoting this agenda? Coincidence? I think not.
Coincidence? I think not!
Next, when it comes to the whole you-know-what studies, when the media came out and kept telling you safe and effective over and over again, and then meanwhile you realize that the companies who are promoting this stuff also have the largest criminal history, have paid the largest criminal fines in history out of any company out there, and these companies have no liability for anything bad that could happen to you with this stuff coming out. And then when anyone who tries to question these things on social media gets censored and shut up, especially people who've actually had adverse reactions, how do you trust these people still? Especially when the studies themselves actually remove the control group because these people claimed that anyone who didn't have this in their arms was unethical. So therefore, they removed the control group after a few months, and the studies had no long-term data, and also the results actually showed that the products weren't doing what they claimed they were, but like the results were manipulated in such a way that like could make these people claim one thing while actually showing another. For instance, one mistake that I believe is prevalent amongst all these disease studies is that diseases, when they're studied, are presented as different entities, when I don't believe this is the case, because no other V word, the particles, which I can't talk about in here, have ever truly been isolated and shown to cause disease in anyone. As evidenced by Stefan Lanka's studies, as well as some other very brilliant minds who I follow. So like therefore, I don't believe that disease is coming from outward inward in the form of submicroscopic particles. I believe it's actually whatever we ingest, whatever we're sprayed with, whatever thoughts we have, all those stuff are, amongst many other causes, are actually contributing to our disease. And so therefore, if you guys have seen some of my past videos on the subject, I believe that disease and health are both inward outward. So when we actually take control over our whole internal health, our outward health shows as well. And the same thing with disease. If we're not controlling whatever inputs we're getting, then our bodies will have no choice but to get sick, but to expel the toxins, to expel poisons. So the problem with these studies is that like you can manipulate the words to make it like a person isn't getting this disease as much, but like if that person is dying from something else, what does that show you about the drugs that are being injected into that person? Moreover, it's almost impossible to get funding for a non-thing study, but in the ones that have come out, they've actually showed lower incidence of asthma, lower incidence of chronic diseases, and general health improvements amongst those populations. But like, we're not allowed to talk about this, because otherwise their whole agenda would be destroyed, wouldn't it? Moving right along, onto the whole red meat bad claim that's been made by all these people. If you were doing a study and you wanted to show that red meat was bad, wouldn't you probably choose the lowest quality red meat? So you'd probably choose red meat from a factory farmed cow. You would choose a population of people who are smokers, who are living poorly.
You've experienced a lifetime of smoking in 72 hours. What did you expect? Well, emphysema, birth defects, cancer, but not this.
And then when these people get cancer, you would claim that like the red meat has to be what's causing it. Same thing goes when it comes to talking about animal fats being bad for you, or just like fats in general. Like, so if you wanted to prove that like fats were bad for people, you'd probably use the lowest quality fats out there. And moreover, this would most likely be funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, by people who have an agenda and a reason to get you off real quality meat and real quality fats, and to get you eating the bugs, the bugs, and to get onto the lab-grown meat, right? Sounds pretty suspicious to me. These people don't have an agenda though, do they? I don't know, you tell me. Look at the history. Follow the money, follow the power. Why is it that in every single scenario, these people create problems and then they end up getting more powerful, more wealthy, and we end up sicker, weaker? Is that up? Now, this doesn't mean that like you always have to like throw the baby out with the bathwater. So like, as I'm going to talk about most likely in another video, going to the extremes with any diet like isn't going to be good for the majority of people. So like, just because I believe high quality organic grass-fed beef is amazing for you, doesn't mean that like I also totally agree with the whole carnivore people. I believe that will end up leading to people getting malnourished, as I've seen happen within my Vitogenics group. But like, as I've said in the past, any extreme diet is most likely not going to be for you. And the best diet is going to be the one that works best for you, and it's going to contain a wide variety of high quality organic grass-fed beefs, high quality organic vegetables, fermented foods, broths, kefir, etc, etc. But like, we'll talk about that more in another video, because that's a pretty good topic, I think. Next up, we have a zeolite study. So like, I believe that super high quality zeolite, for instance the ones put out by Touchstone Essentials, as I have it in my description below, because I fully believe that taking that has helped me in a major way as far as my own healing journey from my major health issues, which were ultimately caused by the whole pharmaceutical industry, etc, etc. You guys already know the whole story. If you guys don't, you could follow some of my past videos. But so anyways, when Victor first recommended me to take zeolite, I originally started to do some research, just find out more about it. And like, the first study that popped up was a study from Sloan Kettering, which is a cancer company where people go to get chemotherapy, radiation, which I believe is all toxic, poisonous chemicals that don't belong in their bodies. But like, on the other hand, if people actually got like a high quality zeolite product, that would actually help the body to heal itself and to ultimately promote health and to stop producing cancer cells. Because I believe the body is amazing, I believe nature is amazing, but like, when we continue to poison it with poor quality foods, with chemicals, with sprays, with medicines, then you end up in a state of disrepair and you end up blaming it on the wrong things. Also, when it comes to these studies, you're always going to be n equals 1. So like, no matter what has quote unquote worked for everyone else, might not work for you, because as I said in the past, you're different from anyone else in this world. You have a different set of circumstances, you have a different variety of inputs. So like, what works for one person, even if it's the healthiest thing out there, might not work for you. So like, keep this in mind when you're researching through studies. You're always going to be having to experiment on yourself with even good quality products, because the studies have never studied you. There's so many factors that go into our health. So like, to isolate one factor and tell you that like this factor ultimately caused this health problem, or this factor healed this health problem, without analyzing the millions of other factors out there, is honestly not fully truthful. So like, as I've heard numerous times in the past, correlation doesn't always equal causation, but like, it's so hard to analyze every single health issue and then to only implement one product and like to claim like this product got rid of this disease or this thing harmed this person. So especially when the parties involved have a clear vested interest in a certain result, and then when they don't get the result that like would promote their agenda, they will remove people from the study, they will make it take less time than it's supposed to, they will remove the control group, which is all unethical, I believe. But like, it happens. And the reason why it's able to happen is because people who are the members of the companies who are selling the drugs, also the members on the boards of the companies who are approving the drugs. It's a conflict of interest, and it shouldn't happen. Plus, when it comes to any drugs that are being promoted, they're never going to look at the full combination of being on 7 drugs at a time, as most Americans are. I'm not sure what the number is, but like, I'm pretty sure the majority of Americans over 50 are on at least 5 to 7 drugs at a time, and like, those drugs are all gonna have interactions with each other that could be potentially harmful for the patients. But like, it's impossible to see how this would interact with everything combined at the same time.
Catch you later. An honor.
Moreover, I'm sure the FDA, who previously approved of glyphosate, triglycerin, Vioxx, thimerosal, RBGH, yellow 5 and 6, etc., and received 70% of its drug regulatory budget from the companies it regulates, there's no reason to lie, would they? I'm sure you should just blindly trust whatever the media says about these companies, shouldn't you? I mean, it's not like every commercial on TV is sponsored by one of these companies, is it?
By Pfizer, making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer.
I must just be a crazy conspiracy theorist for thinking this. So you know what? Maybe it's time for me to stop talking about truth and to just listen to whatever the experts say, because the experts don't have any vested interest. I don't know about you, but like, I'm questioning everything. I'm questioning everything that gets thrown at me. I'm going to question everything that gets recommended to me. I'm doing my own research. So guys, when you're only hearing one side of the story but you're not hearing the other, just remember how much is actually involved in these studies, how much is involved in these giant companies who have way too much power. Look at who's funding the research, look at the agenda that would be promoted if the studies showed a certain result, and question everything. Lastly, I want to finish up by adding in that, like, as my two healing guides, Victor Cuzzetto and Cassie Huckabee, are always saying, they're not about studying disease or managing disease, they're about promoting wellness in the body. So like, it's all about how many positive inputs you could add into your body every day to make yourself healthy and like to promote health in the positive direction, not about studying how to prevent this disease or that disease. 'Cause like, as I mentioned earlier, I don't believe that diseases are like separate entities that are all caused by different microscopic particles. I believe it's all stemming from what you're putting into your body and then how your body reacts to those inputs. Always focus on promoting wellness, not worrying about every single disease that's out there, because when you do that, you end up becoming part of their whole plan and part of their whole agenda, which devises promoting certain drugs for certain diseases and certain behavior modifications in order to support them. Nature is perfect, doesn't need our fixing. We have to abide by natural laws. But like, what it all comes back to, as I always say, is if you're not taking this information and then using it to become the best version of yourself, become the healthiest, strongest person you could possibly be, then all this stuff means nothing. So like, eat well, drink well, think well, breathe well, move well, sleep well, be well, as one of my favorite shirts by my guy Alec Zach says. So get in touch with nature, learn natural principles, always listen to what your body says, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, don't believe the propaganda, don't believe the lies, and don't eat the bugs, because the people in power will be eating the meats and you will be owning nothing and being happy according to them. But like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live that life. I don't want to be living in my pod.
I know this steak doesn't exist. The Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious.
I'm going to be eating real steaks. I'm going to be eating real food, real high quality vegetables that haven't been sprayed with glyphosate, that haven't been sprayed with herbicides, pesticides, etc. I want to be following nature, following natural principles. So guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of Hard Truths with me. Hope this episode inspires you to do your own research, to question everything, to not just believe whatever you're told, and hopefully you guys take this information to become healthier, stronger, better versions of yourselves. Love you guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is the only channel where you guys are going to be getting fitness content, basketball content, sports content, fun content with friends, food channel content, inspirational content, and hard truths all at the same time, because I'm not limiting myself to just one thing. I believe that like this all constitutes who I am and the message of positivity I'm trying to promote. So love you guys. Drop a like, drop a comment. We out here. Peace.